We begin today with some major news out of West Bloomfield Township. This just into our team at Civic Center TV. A huge change is on its way in our chief leadership at Town Hall. West Bloomfield Township Supervisor Steve Kaplan announcing he will be exiting his position effective in the coming weeks. He'll be leaving for a new job in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, a place he's very familiar with from in the past in his career. With more details, we now go live to the boardroom at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Our very own Jake Schaff has more. Jake, because what's unique about this entrepreneurship program is it's right within your wheelhouse of the age groups that you work with day to day. It's not teens that are in high school taking business classes or young adults who are maybe studying business or are building their businesses actively. These are younger kids, so who will this program be available to? How much then, as we look at those local political races, those partisan races in greater West Bloomfield and then spread throughout Oakland County, how might that sort of be a bellwether for what we see down the road as those presidential election results come in? My only major requirement outside of all the basics for the next township supervisor, they got to be able to name all the presidents, if not the presidents and the vice presidents, much like Steve. Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh at the Breslin Student Event Center in East Lansing. MHSAA Finals Day. The West Bloomfield Lakers taking on Grand Blanket. Kevin, if Friday was any indication, we're in for an exciting final at the Bres. Tyler Kieft with Civic Center TV from the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. And, well, if you needed a sign to come on down to the show on Powers and Daly Road throughout the weekend, well, you got plenty of signs here along with Travis Johnson from Pinckney, Michigan, who brought his man-made signs along with him today. In Orchard Lake, a bell tolled 150 times, celebrating 150 years of worship and one of our longest standing communities in greater West Bloomfield. Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh after the West Bloomfield Lakers are once again MHSAA Division I state champions, defeating Grand Blanc 60-30 in the state title game today, and an impressive performance at that by the Lakers. For many veterans like Sigmund Glazer and Chuck Greer, the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast was a stark but welcomed contrast to their original welcome home, one much friendlier than they ever could have wished for.
Every time I hear a welcome home and such an event like this, I feel very emotional. The Vietnam vets, as was indicated in other speeches, we did get a raw deal coming back to the States. We were not welcome back.
When the crowd showed up in San Francisco, I thought they were going to wave us and say thank you, and they didn't. And to come to a celebration where people finally appreciate, the service and the sacrifice, we take care of our community, and we do thank West Bloomfield.
The celebration for these volunteers of immense service was led by volunteers, something West Bloomfield School Board member Deborah Evans hopes serves as an important message to students and the community.
Well, I think that it's always important to celebrate our veterans, our heroes, who keep us safe, who keep our country safe, who have served. We want to instill upon our students that it is honorable to serve our country and to understand that service is two ways, meaning a lot of times when you serve, that you find again that your service heart grows as you protect your country, your family, and yourself.
The love and care for local veterans did not go unnoticed, both by those who have served our nation as well as those whose families have given their service to our country as well.
I enjoyed the service, I learned a lot, and it's always been with me, and I thoroughly enjoyed what happened here today. Definitely appreciated and makes me want to become more active in my community to assist in whatever the community action is.
My brother and my father both served in many wars. They leave families behind. So I want to say to all the military families and all the veterans, we want to extend our love, we want to extend our communal presence, and we want to always extend our hearts to all of our heroes.
Brings it right to our hearts because we always knew we were doing the right thing. We're serving our country, but so this is a very important event and we really appreciate it. This is really very, very outstanding. The whole service, the people that sang, announced each other, the colonels and everything else was absolutely great, and we're so thankful, all of us. I speak for all the veterans, especially the Vietnam vets.
This is Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian, a church with deep ties for many families in greater West Bloomfield. Dr. Catherine Kanganey's great-great-great-grandparents, Caroline and Colin Campbell, founded the church in 1874. 150 years later, she says her ancestors would be overjoyed at what this community has become.
Well, although it was the Campbells' idea to found the church, it was a community project from the very beginning. And when the church was founded in 1874, it was a seasonal church. So I think they would be floored to see not only the community having grown and having sustained the church for the summers, but now that it's a year-round, very active congregation, I think they would be floored.
For Patty Rothley and Becky Sasick, their connections to the church span 4 generations and play a special role in their family.
It's very special and unusual, I think, to have that many generations worship here.
And now her children are all coming here, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
The church, like any community, is about connection, providing a place to be together and build bonds that strengthen our community during the challenges of life.
I think this church came to be because the community pulled together, and there have been times of challenge for this congregation, and it has pulled together to meet and solve those challenges. And so I think that's the legacy from 1874 to now.
I truly believe that what we've founded for 150 years would be the best legacy possible, that we are serving our neighbors, our friends, loved ones, and strangers in love, sharing with them as we are able the good news of Jesus Christ that we believe here at the Orchard Lake Church, and supporting them through tough times.
Ultimately, it's joy that brings the people of Orchard Lake Community Church together, a friendly family of folks from across greater West Bloomfield and beyond.
You make friends when you come here because everyone is so wonderful, and you serve on committees together, and you do things together, and then you just feel like this is your home.
Everybody in the church always works together as a team. We support so many different charities and anything you might want to be involved in.
I think the lessons of the church are that we want to love each other and support each other through the tough times and the good times.
It was a labor of love for an awful lot of people, and this congregation and this community ought to feel really proud of that legacy.
It's a legacy that was no accident, sown through generations of an emphasis on helping each other and helping other people.
Many communities of faith do as we do, but I wanted to emphasize today all that we have accomplished together and the previous generations have accomplished and bequeathed to us. What a beautiful heritage we have here of people who have served locally and then have gone nationally to serve in many different ways through the Presbyterian Church, but not only through our denomination, but other charitable groups, and internationally.
The friendliness and the feeling of community and the service in this church is amazing.
I think there's a lot of people that belong to this church that are very committed to keeping things going. And it's a very welcoming community, so it's not like we're, isolated. We love when new people come to the church, and there's always some way to get involved.
If you believe in something that much, you can will it to happen. And this group of people from 1874 to the present that have put their pennies together and put their talents together, that you can achieve what you set out to do if you've got a group of people who believes in it and works together to get it done. I hope my great-great-great-grandchildren will be here in 150 years to keep celebrating.
After the tragic loss of her daughter Maya in 2007, Monty Must of Sylvan Lake worried that her daughter's story and the light that she brought into the lives of all whom she encountered would not live on. Months later, Monty was approached with the opportunity to meet survivors of one of history's greatest tragedies, the Holocaust, and embark on a special project, one that would soon take her on quite an amazing journey.
So here I am, just totally devastated that how am I going to remember my daughter? The way that she smelled, the way that she talked, just little things about her. And just about this time in 2007, this time of year, somebody had approached me, maybe it was in March, and they said, would you like to come to the Jewish Community Center and photograph Holocaust survivors, people, kids sitting on their laps, kind of like Santa. And I said, no, that's not anything that I could do. And I went to bed that night, and all of a sudden it was like I woke up and I thought, I can't do that. But I would love to work with Holocaust survivors because they have had these devastating experiences. And if they could go on living, then perhaps they can teach me and show me how I can go on living.
From that moment of epiphany, Mani embarked on a journey to tell the stories of Holocaust survivors through photographs in Living Witnesses.
Living Witnesses is a portrait book, a series of portrait books, and they are a way to memorialize and legitimize and tell people's stories so that people remember not only things that happened in the Holocaust, but it is a way for people who didn't know anything about the Holocaust to learn the stories that actually happened, and for these stories to continue on so that people don't forget.
The book was a massive success, both showing and telling these stories of perseverance and strength. Soon after, Mani took Living Witnesses on the road and made a version of her book on survivors in Chicago.
I started getting requests from different cities, and everybody would, different cities around the United States, and they would say, you know, will you come to our city? Our city has the most Holocaust survivors that there are. Anyway, so we settled on Chicago. And so we were going to go to Chicago and photograph Holocaust survivors that lived in Chicago. And I came back and I said, you know what? We're going to do a book of the United States. All these different cities are calling us, and we're going to do cities all around the United States.
Living Witnesses did not end after Mani traveled the U.S., and instead took her all over the world, where Mani continued to utilize her incredible skill behind the camera to portray the lives of real people, real tragedy, and real living witnesses. Beyond the photographs is a lesson, one that Mani did not learn in the wake of her terrible loss, but across the journey of life and through the story of others, including a personal touch of wisdom from one particular survivor who understood what Mani felt and the journey beyond loss.
And as I was leaving, she turned to me, she said, Mani, by the way, she said, I want you to know something. And here, she's lost a daughter. She's a Holocaust survivor. You will find joy again. And I left, and I thought, there's no way. But she was right. I think you have to take whatever talent you have and help people, however it is.
Reporting for The Splash, I'm Tyler Kieft.